Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am sharing with you a new recipe. I'll be having this for my lunch this week, and they are buffalo chicken empanadas. So to see this and everything else that I prepped, then keep on watching. So I absolutely love the Olive Garden dressing. I do buy the store-bought version quite often, but I also like to make my own dressings when I have the time. And so I do have like a Copycat version of this. But first off, we need to make up a batch of a Copycat Good Seasons Italian dressing mix. So you know those little packages that you can buy, I think it's from Good Seasons. You want to make up a batch of that. So you're going to need 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of sweetener. I'm using the Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, 2 tablespoons of oregano, 1 teaspoon of basil, a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme, 1 tablespoon of parsley, a 1/4 teaspoon of celery salt, or a little bit more as I did right here. I couldn't find my 1/4 teaspoon, and then some pepper. So I like to store this in a little mason jar, and then you can use this to make regular Italian dressing, or you can use it to make my Copycat Olive Garden dressing. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this dressing right into the jar that I'll store this in. So in my jar, I'm adding in 3/4 cup of olive oil. You can also use avocado oil for this. I just like olive oil better in my dressings. A 1/4 cup of vinegar. I am using red wine vinegar. You can also use white vinegar. 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I just don't like to use apple cider vinegar for the whole thing. I just enjoy it, just a little bit of it in there. So that's why I don't use it for the whole thing. You probably could. A 1/4 cup of water. A 1/2 teaspoon of sweetener. Again, I'm using the monk fruit sweetener. A 1/2 teaspoon of Italian herbs. This is not the mix that we just made up. This is just regular Italian herbs. A 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/2 tablespoon of mayo, and 1 tablespoon of this grated Parmesan cheese, and then 2 tablespoons of that dry Italian dressing mix that we made up. So you're going to give this a good stir, and then I usually just shake it really well in the jar, and I store this in the refrigerator. Now, does this taste like the original Olive Garden dressing? Nope, not probably even really close, but it is pretty dang good, and it gives me that Olive Garden dressing vibe. So next up, I'm going to grate up some cheddar cheese that I'll be using for that new recipe I talked to you about, the buffalo chicken empanadas. So I'm grating up this entire 16-ounce block. I think I need cheeses for other things this week, so I like to just get all my cheese grating done on meal prep day. That way I don't have to worry about it at all throughout the whole rest of the week. So when I went grocery shopping this weekend, I picked up a rotisserie chicken at Costco. I do every time I go to Costco. This will serve as my filling for the empanadas, and then also the leftovers will be for my second lunch option, which will just be chicken salads that I'll have with either the Olive Garden dressing or some Caesar dressing, whatever I feel like on that particular day. So there's so many things that you can do with a rotisserie chicken. You guys just go on Pinterest, look up rotisserie chicken recipes, and there are so many things you can do with it. Okay. Do not throw your chicken bones away. After you get all the meat off of there, usually there's a little bit of meat left on there unless you're just really, like to dig in and get it all off of there. But this makes fabulous chicken bone broth. What I usually do is I put this into a Ziploc bag and just toss it in the freezer until I'm ready to make the broth. It stores fine, no big deal. I do have a recipe video that I made probably almost a year ago, maybe it's the beginning of this year, where I showed you guys how to make bone broth. So I will link that video up above and down below. Okay, so now that our cheese and chicken are ready, we're going to go ahead and move into making the empanada filling. So the first thing you have to do is dice up some of that chicken we just tore off the bone and dice it up into small pieces. I'm going to measure out about 2 cups of this diced chicken. So how many of you, when you're doing this, you sneak little bites of chicken when you're dicing it up? Yeah, that's me. I only do it with, already cooked chicken, of course. Okay, so my bowl, add in 2 cups of the diced chicken, 1.5 cups of shredded cheese. Of course, any kind of cheese. You can use whatever kind you want. 3 ounces of cream cheese that has been softened, a 1/3 cup of the Frank's Red Hot Sauce, and then I also threw in some dried chives because I love them, and I like to throw them in quite a few things, as you will see. So that's it. There's your filling. So you want to just mix this up really good until that sauce is all mixed up in there, all nice and incorporated. And now we're going to work on the dough. So I'm just going to be doing a basic fathead dough for this recipe. In my bowl, I am adding in 1.5 cups of shredded mozzarella. I find it's just the already shredded mozzarella I get from Costco works the best with this fathead dough. Am I the only one out there? I don't know. When I shredded my own mozzarella the last time I made fathead dough, it just did not work the same. So in your bowl, have that in there plus 3 ounces of cream cheese. This is going into the microwave for 1 minute. So here's what it looks like after 1 minute. I always give it a good stir, then put it back into the microwave for another minute. Okay, so now we're going to stir it up until it is really all nice and mixed up and all the cheeses are all incorporated. And then next I'm going to be adding in 1 1/4 cup of almond flour and 1 egg. So I always try to mix it up, but I always end up having to go in with my hands. I just find that the best way to get this mixed up and get that almond flour and the egg and everything all just really nice and mixed up together and all of that is by using my hands. So that's just what works best for me. Okay, time to roll it out. It's best to work quickly with this dough. I find I can manipulate it best when it's still a little bit warm, but this dough, it rolled out so much better than I thought it would. I was really anticipating some issues with it, but I did not have any at all. So you want to roll it out till it's about 1/4 inch thick. And then now time to cut out the circles. I don't have a large circle cookie cutter, so I'm just going to be using this bowl. I would say it's probably about 4 inches in diameter. And I'm transferring these over to a cookie sheet that you can't see that I have lined with a silicone mat. So for the second time, after I got all my circles cut out and then I just made the ball again, I tried rolling it out again and it was sticking at that point because the dough had started to cool down. So what I did was I just ended up spraying my rolling pin with a little bit of cooking spray, and then that worked so fabulous, you guys. So that definitely, I highly recommend you doing that. So I ended up getting 8 circles out of this dough. And so it's now it's time to add our filling. So all I did was just put a little spoonful in the middle, folded it over really carefully. So the dough is really fragile, so you have to be careful. And then I just rolled up the ends. So for the first few, I did crimp the ends with a fork, but I am not a patient person, you guys. I know I've told you that over and over again, and it wasn't working right. So I was just stuck with rolling the ends and just did not even worry about the fork thing. But I am so pleased with how easy these were to make, and I'm definitely going to experiment with some flavors. So pause the video, tell me right now in the comment section what flavors you think I should try to make, and what flavors are you going to make when you try this recipe. I want to hear you guys' thoughts down there. I think like a ground beef and cheese would be good, or you know what would be so amazing? Like a Philly cheesesteak filling. Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to be making that next. Honestly, you guys, the possibilities are endless. So if you recreate this recipe, please tag me on social media. All my handles are down below. Also, don't forget to share this video with someone you know will love this recipe. Okay, so now they are all filled, and I do have some leftover filling. I think this would be really super good in like a low carb wrap or even like a lettuce wrap. I think I may do that. I have some low carb wraps coming to try, so I may just end up doing that. So I will share that with you guys and let you know how it turned out. Okay, so now these are going to go into a 425-degree oven for 12 minutes. I did peek at them at 10 minutes because my oven tends to cook a little bit hot, but just to make sure they weren't too brown, but they looked really good, so I went ahead and put them in there for another 2 minutes, and here they are after 12 minutes. Again, I am so happy with how these turned out. They're easy to pick up. These are going to be so good. So I plan on serving these with a salad and also some bacon-wrapped jalapeno poppers, which we are going to make next. I've made jalapeno poppers before on my channel, but I didn't do them with the bacon wrapped around them, so I decided to give that a shot. So first things first, we have to cut up the jalapenos. I actually don't enjoy this because it never fails. Like the oils in the jalapenos always get into my throat and I start coughing and I can't see. I can never also seem to get the smell or the oils off of my fingers. Do y'all know a hack for that? Let me know. I guess I should just wear gloves like I do with the chicken. I don't know, but jalapenos are done. The filling for these are super simple. It's just 4 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1/4 cup of cheddar cheese or whatever kind of cheese you want to use, onion, salt, and I'm also using some dried chives because why not? So give that a good stir, and it's time to stuff the peppers. So I'm just taking a spoon and I'm just stuffing the peppers, just making sure that, you know, the whole thing is getting filled up. I took some bacon and I already cut them like in half because I figured half would be quite enough for these, and they actually turned out really well. I was actually surprised how well the bacon stayed around the pepper. Now I'm putting these into my air fryer basket off to the side that you cannot see. I'll show you that here in just a second. So I had a few peppers left that I didn't get stuffed, and I actually almost stuffed some of them with that buffalo chicken mixture, but I thought, you know, spice on top of spice on top of spice. I don't know. I just kind of thought they may be a little bit too much, so I didn't. So the last time I made jalapeno poppers in my air fryer, they stuck a little bit to the bottom. So I'm going to be using one of those parchment rounds that I picked up on Amazon. I'll try to remember to link those down below. I love these things. They're so useful and they last forever. So these went into my air fryer at 400 degrees for 8 minutes. I checked them, but I wanted the bacon to be a little bit crispier, so I ended up putting them in for 2 more minutes, and this is the result. So they look fantastic. I don't like how the bacon kind of came unwrapped and they were a little bit hard to eat. I really like how my last batch turned out, that I just chopped up. I cooked up the bacon ahead of time, chopped it up, mixed some into the mixture, and then I just sprinkled some on top. And I thought those turned out really super well. So I think that's how I'm going to do them from now on. So are you guys still here? If so, put the bacon emoji down there in the comment section. If you don't have the bacon, then any emoji will do. So there you go, guys. Just a quick meal prep. I ended up having to run some errands and such today, so I had to cut my prep short. But I'm really happy with what I did get done, and I'm ready for lunch this week. As always, you guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel if you've not already done so. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload videos. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.